Instead, he just stood there, waited and waited. The delay felt almost real, like waiting for an actual doctor. Well, Gideon wouldn't exactly be the first one Leon would seek out. Not even in an emergency. Not even if he was dying. Well, Gideon was a real doctor, and Leon was, in fact, dying. Yes, he was dying. Leon gritted his teeth as he looked down. It was still the same. The same as when he'd first heard it, the fear, the sorrow, all of it. It was still the same. He thought he had more time. What a joke. Why are you here? A voice came from the dark, silent, tender, like death. Leon whirled around. The man stood in the doorway at the other side of the room, his grayish hair almost brushing the upper frame. Victor Gideon. Leon recognized him immediately. Is it for me? He asked. Or for her? His dark crocodile leather coat rustled as he came closer. He moved slowly and way too silently for a man his size. Leon reached for his gun, pointed the requiem right at the tall figure in front of him. There he had his answer. Gideon merely chuckled. We can talk, he said, his voice still low, soothing, like he was calming a frightened animal trapped in a corner. Another step forward. Leon stepped back, still holding him at gunpoint. His finger hovered over the trigger, but he didn't shoot. Not yet. A part of him still wanted to know what his objective was, why he'd wanted him to follow him to this place. Why him? How about I shoot you right in the face if you don't tell me where she is? Right now? He growled. Oh, you wouldn't do that. His sly grin revealed too many crooked teeth, black as bile and sharp as knives. Leon's gaze halted, abhorred by the sight. Watch me, Leon growled. Yes, Gideon said as he breathed out, almost satisfied. Yes, I did. Leon froze. Slowly, he felt a shiver creeping up his spine, ice cold. What? His voice was quiet, way too quiet. And suddenly he felt like all the air had been pushed out of his lungs, like he'd been kicked in the gut. But Gideon didn't even do anything. He just stood there, wide smile, as if he couldn't wait to give him the answer to that. Now Leon didn't know if he really wanted to know. Not anymore. Yes, Leon. I've watched you for weeks now. Every morning from the moment you wake up, take your first sip of coffee, when you get ticketed again for driving too fast with your fancy new Porsche on your way to the office. Leon narrowed his eyes. His body still remained frozen on the spot, next to the big wooden door. A small part of him wanted to grab the handle and storm the fuck out of there. It was the part inside him that let his gun waver, only slightly, but enough for his enemy to notice. And Gideon seemed to notice everything. He could see the metal device over his eyes move, like he was taking a really good look at that, at his involuntary weakness breaking through. Leon closed his fingers even more tightly around the handle of the requiem, knowing he could still hurt him if he wanted to. Very badly. Even if he was 2 heads taller than him, mutated through God knows what. He could fight him, and he would. But not yet. If he could get Gideon to talk, then maybe he could find out more about what was going on, maybe even Grace's whereabouts. Didn't take you for a stalker, but everyone needs a hobby, I guess, he then commented, shrugging off the wave of fear by shoving it aside with a hard wall of disregard. He wanted his opponent to know that he wasn't one to be fucked with that easily. Leon had fought a lot of guys like that in the past. They would say the most outlandish things to you, entering your personal space. It didn't even matter what those things were or if they were true. In the end, it was all about sparking insecurity in their enemy to gain an unfair advantage. In Leon's experience, his enemies would tend to use this tactic for only one reason, because they didn't know they could win otherwise. So, Leon said to himself, it didn't matter, even if it was true. The one important thing was that Gideon seemed to be afraid of his power, and hell, he better be. With this thought in mind, the slight tremble of his gun stilled. Again, a quiet click of Gideon's head device, always noticing. A moment of silence. Then the man sighed, let out a short, breathy laugh. With the same quiet, soothing voice, he continued, I would rather call it a professional curiosity. Professional curiosity? Leon frowned. It sounded even more unhinged than the fact that he had a stalker. He couldn't even grasp what the hell that was supposed to mean. But one thing he knew, it sounded dangerous. Yeah, it must be really exciting, watching me drive around all day looking at bodies, talking to my colleagues, Leon answered dryly. His arm began to stiffen in the air. If Gideon's plan was to simply talk him to death, it seemed to be working.